Welcome to the Cyber Business Podcast, where we feature top founders and entrepreneurs and share their inspiring stories. Now, let's get started with the show.
Matthew Connor here, host of the Cyber Business Podcast, where we feature successful business leaders, top law firms, green energy companies, and more. Today, we're joined by the author of Zero to Engineer, A Story of the American Dream, and the CEO of NGT Academy, Terry Kim. Terry, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Matthew, for having me on the show. Super glad to be here.
Super glad to have you. Before we get too far into it, a quick word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by cyberlynx.com. That's cyberlynx.com. Do you know if a hacker is in your system? Most people and most companies don't until the hacker's done what they came to do. With CyberLynx intrusion detection, you'll know if a hacker finds its way past your security before they can do harm. Find out more at cyberlynx.com. That's cyberlynx.com. And now back to our show. Terry, I think that segues pretty nicely into our guest here. So, Terry, you've got a pretty decent background in cybersecurity yourself, yeah?
That's correct. Yeah, I started my career in the Air Force at around 25 years ago. So, been in the IT industry for quite some time now.
Fantastic. So, I'd like to talk about your book. You got a great new book. I started reading it the other day. Really interesting stuff. Can you tell us what was the inspiration for Zero to Engineer?
Yeah, so Zero to Engineer was an inspiration actually back when I was working at Cisco. And it was during my Cisco and Arista days where I was an architect and I would build IT solutions for top Fortune 500 companies. And a lot of CIOs and IT directors would come to me asking for engineering talent. And I would ask them like, hey, are you having challenges? And they would tell me that especially the new workforce coming into the workforce, like college grads, that they didn't have any hands-on training and they would flunk the technical interview process over and over again. So what I found was there were a lot of great candidates that look good on paper with the diplomas and even certifications. We call them paper certified in the IT industry. They might look good on paper, but they really lack the hands-on experience and the actual competent skills they really need to perform on the job on day one. So the idea was really, could I take someone from zero to engineer instead of 4 years? And the answer was yes, because I did it. I was in the Air Force. We taught 18, 19-year-olds that didn't even know anything about cybersecurity. And we had to train them up to set up mission critical networks in the battlefield. And those networks had to be secure. They had to be set up properly. And so this whole concept of, when I saw ITT Tech, now they're shut down. They got shut down in 2016 by the government. I mean, they were the biggest IT, infomercial, right? On the evening nights. They were charging $80,000 for a 4-year network admin degree. And I knew there was a better way. So that's what actually spun this idea of Zero to Engineer. And I started mentoring some students and found success. And that's how NGT Academy was born. And I turned that concept of Zero to Engineer into a book, incorporating my entire story, everything that I've used in terms of tools, frameworks, and strategies to propel people's career into the IT industry, and how to land your dream IT job without the college degree, obtain financial freedom, and work on the latest technologies.
That's great. So your target market there for the book obviously is somebody looking to transition into IT, right? With or without a degree,
That's correct.
Which I think is fantastic because as you look at, there are so many jobs that are going to go through a very difficult transition. I mean, take a look at truck drivers, for instance. They're going to go through a massive transition. And a lot of truck drivers trying to do their, a code academy, try to become a programmer and get out of the, get off a sinking ship, if you will, right? So I think you're perfectly timed. I think there's a huge, we know there's a huge demand for it in the IT and cybersecurity space. So kudos on getting that out there. And on NGT Academy. So I'd like to kind of dive into that a little as well, because I think that's really really brilliant. It's a great idea. There's huge necessity for it. And here on the Cyber Business Podcast, we like to get into kind of the nuts and bolts of business and kind of I don't say workshop it, but really kind of discuss the actual nuts and bolts of business. So let's go with NGT Academy. Can you give us a breakdown of what it is, what you're trying to do, the overview, and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely. NGT Academy is an online premier academy where you can train in 4 months versus 4 years of college. And how we've kind of reverse engineered the idea that you need to go to college for 4 years is that we focus on the technical training. So all of our programs, if you go to our website, ngt.academy, you'll see that we have network engineering, we have cybersecurity, and then we'll be launching DevOps and cloud later this month or next month. And then we also have product UI, UX, and data science. AI is taking off, taking the market by storm. So we've got a track that's coming out. But basically, we want to be your number one IT academy when it comes to an alternative to college. And so we're a tenth of the cost of a college education, and we can train you in 4 months, and we provide career services. So it's a self-paced program with weekly live coaching, depending on what module or kind of what milestone you're at in the program. But we're going to build a strong foundation and then also assign you multiple keystone projects and mentors. And then you go through these projects, like you get to plan, architect, and roll out an entire infrastructure project, like to work on switching, routing, voice over IP, cloud, IPsec tunneling, setting up a disaster recovery site, like real world stuff. And this is what they don't teach you in academia. And that's the unfortunate thing. But we know this can be done because both me and my co-founder were both instructors in the Air Force with top secret clearances, and we had to train people in 4 months. So NGT Academy is your number one platform to train. If you want to get into IT, if you're already stuck in IT, because we also see 30% of our students are in entry-level job roles and they don't know how to move up the ranks. So we help upskill them as well. But we also have a lot of people that are switching careers, whether it's truck drivers, we have a lot of like retail, warehouse, banking, you name it. We've taken pretty much every walk of life or career path and switched them into an IT professional. And, we like to take a lot of pride and credit on how efficient our training is, because we've taken a forklift driver, literally drowned in student loan debt, and almost gave up on his dream to get into IT. Now he works at Google as a network engineer, and he didn't need to come out of an Ivy League school to do that. And then we also have like a bike rider in New York City, 60 years old, making $400 a week, and we landed him a six-figure job at Accenture as a cybersecurity analyst in 9 months. Like, talk about career switch changes, right? Like,
Nice.
we're known for that. So it's not about training or a diploma. For us, it's about life transformation. We love changing people's lives. And this is our mission here, to change 1 million lives with our school by 2030.
That's fantastic. I mean, kudos, and I hope that we can help propel that mission, help get you on the way, because I think it's so critical. I was Army as well for about 10 years, and so totally agree with you. I think there's a huge void, and I think this is actually the key. I mean, it's fine when you want to be a doctor, a lawyer, but when it comes to things like cybersecurity, the traditional university route I don't think it's the best. It's fine, even when it comes to programming, there's so much in technology where that isn't necessarily the right solution for what you're looking to do. It might be if you want to get in it, maybe onto the business side of things, and you want to go and get your MBA so you can understand more of that. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. But for I want to be a network engineer, you're not going to get a lot of what you need, just as you're saying, from that college experience. So you're going to come out,
Yep.
with no experience, with no real understanding. Some great academic understanding. You can, the computer science basics you got, but not when it comes to the network infrastructure and how to roll that out, how to engineer it. So I think that's brilliant.
Right.
So let me ask you. So when did you start NGT Academy?
2016. And
2016, great.
it's about, yeah, it's like you can talk the talk, but can you walk the walk? And I would say, you pair up any college student with our graduate, and you're going to see a 10x difference, because we validate on real world skills. And as you've been in the Army and myself in the military, it's like it's skills based training in the military. It's like we need to train these people to be job competent, or job ready is what we call it. And that's how we've designed our programs for students to be job ready. And like right now, there couldn't be a better time to break into IT. I broke into IT in 2000. And here in 2023, you got so many cool IT trends going on, but there's 572,392 cybersecurity jobs open right now here in the USA alone. I'm looking at the heat map. It's pretty wild. So wild, wild west. If you want to break into an amazing career, IT, a lot of people think IT and, oh, I got to learn coding and programming. I see a lot of truck drivers trying to learn how to code. And we have a lot of students fail coding boot camps and come to us because it's like, I've always wanted to get into tech, but I thought you had to be a programmer. And I'm just like, there's hundreds of jobs outside of software programming. In fact, software boot camps are having more struggles right now with the demand and the layoffs with a lot of the coding engineers. And it doesn't impact our business because we're the network guys, we're the cybersecurity guys, we're the cloud guys, we're the infrastructure and application all the way from physical layer all the way to the application layer. And there's so many jobs in information technology.
Oh, 100%. And we already know that AI is going to basically eradicate the need for most programmers very, very quickly. So, you make a really interesting point about the education, or at least the marketing education that people have received when it comes to, oh, how do I get into tech? It's, oh, go to a coding boot camp. It's just a few months. You'll be able to get a job with Google. That was a great thing 6 years ago, 7 years. But today, okay, it's time for a transition, and you really are setting people up for the future, for a future career, because the future is in the cybersecurity side. It's not on the coding side for sure. And so,
100%.
I think that's fantastic. So let me ask you. So there you are. Let's go from the beginning of NGT Academy. It's 2016, you say, right? You got this idea. You're like, hey, wait, I've got a better mousetrap. So how do you go from this idea to actually starting NGT Academy, and what happens after that?
Yeah, so I created a course on basically I called it the Zero to Engineer. It was a $500 course, $497. I enrolled like 12 students into it. Gave them massive transformation, breaking into their dream IT job. And I was like, you know what? I can scale this thing with a technical platform. And so right from the start, we knew we wanted to build a tech platform, right? So we're not like on Kajabi or Thinkific or some generic LMS. We actually hired a CTO and a UI UX designer. Those were our first two hires because we wanted to build a platform that can scale to serve millions of users. So our actual learning platform in itself is designed for gamification, up-leveling, discussion boards, beautiful user experience in an online community, unlike, like a college portal. So, rewind 2016, we were like, hey, we want to go all into this idea. How about we, because I knew I wanted to raise venture capital for this because I wanted to take it public one day. And so we decided to raise, money, and we got accepted into this startup incubator out of New York City, an SF. So we got accepted into AngelPad, spent 2 months in New York City drafting up the business plan and the pitch deck, and then moved to San Francisco for another 2 months for demo day, and ended up living in the streets of San Francisco pitching angels and VCs. And we got really lucky, through perseverance. Like on week 7, I got a meeting and finally landed Joe Montana, MVP Hall of Famer. Yeah, I love Joe. He basically seeded in our seed round for $250K. And I was able to end up raising, a little over $1 million in the 2 months period. And I told my co-founder at the time, I said, if we raise $1 million, we're moving our company and our families to California, to Silicon Valley. And I guess the rest is history from there. But that was kind of the starting point. And we both quit our jobs and we got $50,000. That was the first investment into NGT from AngelPad.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, so there you go. You got a quarter of mil from Joe Montana, which is just cool. And then you finish raising the other million. Then what happens? So it's you, your co-founder, and I think you said you brought on a CTO and a UI UX developer. You started developing your own platform in-house. Now this is what? Now it's still 2016?
Yeah, 2016, raised in the summer, moved to San Jose, California in the fall. Got a small WeWork office for a 4-person team and hired those 2 guys, and it was a 4-person team. And we got the LMS design done, and we started coding away. And so that was the first year was let's build this LMS, and then in the background, while our product and our CTO team basically was building the LMS, me and Jacob said, "Hey, let's create a flagship program for networking and cyber." And so that's how we started, and we created our flagship program, and that's been our strongest program since inception.
Fantastic. So you build out that program. Now, how do you go about acquiring students? What's your strategy? How did you lay this out? Now you've got a platform. You've got a program to sell. What steps do you take now?
Yeah. So with any business, once you know your target customer and you understand your value or product or service you want to offer them, you want to, create a nice, beautiful website and start generating leads. And so we used Facebook and Instagram primarily in our early days. And yeah, it's if the product is good, it'll return some type of investment back, like put $1 in and get $3 back, and then you figure out how to scale that and serve more students. So that's how we got first started.
So Facebook and Instagram ads, or did you go straight just, hey, we're going to build content and go organically? How did you go about it?
Well, we had to build our platform, so we waited probably almost 9 months or a year. I would say 9 months, and then we launched our first version on the platform. And yeah, we just started running ads and started enrolling students, and off we went.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So you'd say all your real growth, then it's all just advertising, LinkedIn and Instagram. That's where that's gone, right? All from
That's
there.
correct. We have organic content too. So like, don't get me wrong. Like we have 100K subscribers on our YouTube channel. So we have like subnetting videos like that reached 1.2 million views and things like that. And we have a blog. And so, SEO traffic is very important for business owners that are listening. Like I wish I did more SEO in the early days, but how to be a network engineer, like we Google rank pretty high on that. And that's just a blog article. So it's like SEO and organic traffic is, I would say, even more important for the long term. Because short term, like you're going to have to rely on these other platforms. But now you've got Google, you've got YouTube, you've got TikTok, you've got Pinterest, you've got so many other platforms. It's like pick one and then scale to other channels as you need to grow beyond that.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned TikTok, and I'm kind of curious because I think there's so much opportunity on platforms like TikTok, whether it's kind of building up your own or using micro influencers or influencers. Have you guys explored that? What's your take? Where do you guys stand on that?
Yeah, right now we're actually in the middle of a referral program that we're looking to launch and using micro to macro influencers in the networking, cyber, or IT field. So that's something in the works that we're going to launch in Q1 of next year. But here in Q4, we do have an epic referral program. So if you're listening to this and you want to learn more about it, you can definitely grab my free book, and that book will allow you to access the referral program. So zerotoengineer.com/book. You can grab the book there for free. All you got to do is pay for shipping. And then you get access to our referral program. So every student that you send our way and they enroll, you get $500. So it's a pretty nice referral program. You enroll 5 students a month, you get 2,500, little side hustle, right? So,
Yeah.
and then the ambassador program, we're going to double that next year, and that's what we're going to launch across all the micro influencers and whatnot.
That's great. So let's take this from the two students' perspective. So let's say let's go back to the truck driver. You're a truck driver. You're listening to the podcast. You're like, shit, I want to do this. This would be perfect for me. I didn't really like the whole coding thing. I want to, but network engineer, cybersecurity, that sounds fantastic. So, how do they go about it? What's their, is there an upfront cost? They got to come out of pocket? Are there student loans? How's it work?
Yeah, we've had different models over the last 6-7 years. We even tried the zero tuition down 10% of their income for 4 years. It sounds great on paper, but at the end of the day, there's not enough skin in the game. So it's really not a good business model to scale, in my opinion.
Yep.
I like the direct to consumer model where students pay up front and they can take a loan or get on a payment plan. So our tuition is a flat $10,500 for our flagship program. That gives you 18 months access. You can earn up to 9 certifications, get access to 3 capstone projects, and it comes with career services. And we also have a money back guarantee. Like if you don't get a job within 1 year of completing our program, we'll refund your entire tuition. So it becomes a no-brainer offer guarantee. Because we believe in our product and we believe in our services. So if you're curious, all you got to do is go to ngt.academy, check out the programs there, or you can go to zerotoengineer.com actually, and you can see all the case studies, student successes, and there's a nice video introduction of what we're all about. So that could get you started.
That's fantastic, man. I mean, that's really fantastic. So let me ask you.
To piggyback on that, you can get a loan. And so the loans will bring down your monthly costs to about $250 to $450 a month. So like who can't afford $250 to $450? Like if this is the program I designed for myself. If I was 21 and I had the option to go to NGT versus Air Force, I would have chose NGT Academy. Because within 2-3 years, you're going to be making 6 figures. And 4 to 6 years into the career, like if you're really like awesome at what you do, like you could easily make 200K plus in this field. It's just so insane, and it's very comparable to like a doctor or a lawyer pay even.
Oh yeah, no, it's fantastic. I mean, it's just there's so much opportunity. In fact, as you go up those ranks, I was just reading that for CISO, you're now looking at the average pay being up in the near $500,000 when you're working at a large organization. So we're talking serious pay now. And even at the smaller organizations, as you drop down, you're still looking at $300,000 to $400,000 a year.
100%.
To go from nothing, work your way up to that. Where else are you going to find that? I mean, you're not. You're
no other career is going to provide that.
Into none, just point blank. So let's go back to the certifications. You said you can get, I think you said 9 certifications. Are these CompTIA? What kind of certifications are we talking about?
So it depends on the career pathway you want to choose. We have our own in-house. So we treat kind of like CompTIA, Cisco, all the vendor certs, Microsoft, AWS, all of them kind of as a commodity. Because at the end of the day, like if you've been in IT for a long time, there's people that just, there's test dump sites, there's brain dumps, and that's a big problem in the industry is that people are memorizing a pool of questions to pass these exams, but it's not practical assessment. So we reversed it. In the early training, we provide our own in-house certs. So for example, if you want to be a network engineer, we have our own full stack network associate cert that you get where we validate you on over 100 real world skills. Once you pass that, it's more of a practical exam, right? There's also a written exam, but the practicality of it is that we're going to certify you that you can do the job. And when you get through our 3 capstone projects, an infrastructure build out, data center, and firewall upgrade, right? We're going to then issue the full stack network professional certification. Now, once you pass our fundamentals and our projects, then we right before the career hunting phase or career job search phase, where we match you with our career counselors and specialist is that we're going to make sure that you get one of the industry certs. So if you want to be a cybersecurity, maybe it's the Security Plus, and maybe the CISSP or some additional cert, maybe Certified Ethical Hacker. We'd like to kind of get 1 and 2 certs on top of our certs. So maybe 3 to 5 certs for a graduate. And then if you want to be a network engineer, we'll throw in the Cisco CCNA on top of our 2 other certs. So you come out with 3 FSNA, FSNP for the capstone projects, and then the CCNA. But the truth be told, Matthew, we have students that don't even get other certs and just get our own certs and then go get a job because they just crushed the job interview. And that's what's mostly important here is like, can you do the job? Because I think what we're seeing in the IT industry is managers, they want to hire competent people that have the skills or have the potential or have the capacity to have some hands-on experience through their own learning, through a platform like ours, or maybe they built their own labs, and got their hands dirty. And that's the workforce that needs to come in.
I love that. So I really like this, the career counselor approach. And I'd like to kind of explore that more. So let's say I'm a prospective student. I love the idea, want to get into cybersecurity, a little concerned because the $10,000 is that's real money. Great, but you got to invest in yourself. I get that. So I want to do this. Now, I don't know where to go once I've learned this information. How am I going to find the job? And now tell me about this whole career counselor thing. How are you going to help me get my foot in the door and get into the industry?
Yeah, so we have a 90-day game plan for each graduate. Once they graduate, depending on the city and location where they're at, we'll do their resume. We'll help them with their LinkedIn profile for personal branding. We also help them with their cover letters and also their outbound outreach messages and things like that. And they can apply to any open position, first of all. So, like I said, there's over 500,000 open cyber jobs, and networking is the feeder role for a lot of these jobs. So that's a combination of cyber and networking and other fields. But we basically make them if there's an employer match. So we have over 500 employers on our network. So if there's a recruiter match or an employer match, we'll do that. If not, we really prepare them to apply to any job in the open market, because right now, the IT workforce is in huge demand right now, and they can't fill these positions fast enough. So I guess, it's a combination of having so many opening jobs plus our 500 plus employer network that allows us to, be very successful at placing these students in jobs. So we have about a 9 out of 10 success rate once they graduate.
Wow. That's fantastic, man. I love everything about this. This is so great. It's so timely. It's the right it's the right focus. It's the right way to do it. I think, I think far too often people take more of an academic approach, and I'm not kind of trashing academia, but I think that when you look at cybersecurity and IT, there is a very real world kind of skill set that's needed. Yeah, you have to understand the fundamentals, why it works, how it works, but you get that as you go through the kind of hands-on, not just like, click this, do that, but kind of the real world experience of, oh, why do we do that? That's why we do it this way, and this is how these things work. That kind of that military style training, which I think is so great. You just get in there and you start learning it with, roll up your sleeves, get dirty, start figuring it out, and learning it hands on. I think is a really great approach for people who, maybe just aren't kind of naturally that academic book learner. And so, I mean, this is just fantastic. So let me ask you, how close to your goal for 2030 are we? I know you're still kind of early on, and I know this will snowball, but I got to ask, it's all big right there. How close to the goal are we?
I mean, we've got a long ways to go. We've onboarded probably close to 50,000 students in the past 7 years through our programs, courses, and that's pretty much everything we offer.
That's awesome.
So we're making definitely strides and impact there. We're also working on an M&A this quarter that might move into next quarter to expand our tracks and to also scale over to the Asia Pac and also Europe. So that's kind of in the works for 2024. But at one point we'd like to be impacting 50 to 100,000 students every year with our academy. So yeah, one life at a time.
That's fantastic. So I got to ask, I mean, on the scaling side,
Mm.
there's so much human interaction here where you've got live coaching every week. You've got career counselors. So there's actual, human beings involved. So it's not just perfectly scalable where you just throw in some more servers to handle the bandwidth. So how do you scale that? Is it something where it's kind of quick and easy? What's your plan there?
Yeah, the platform allows us to scale, and our new model allows us to scale efficiently because we have mastered our program where it's self-paced with weekly 60, 90-minute calls. So it's a one-to-many group coaching call, but it allows us to serve the students in a live manner so they can never feel stuck, and have access to our live instructors and mentors on a weekly basis. And then the platform allows us to scale. We've tried live instruction in 2020 and 2021 for 2 years straight, running 6-month boot camps, and it just wasn't scalable, and it wasn't as effective. Whereas now, if you're a nurse working 80 hours a week and you want to break into healthcare IT, which is a huge, huge vertical and pays extremely well, and you only have to work 40 hours once you're in IT, or you'll get paid overtime if you're on hourly. But that is a good transition. And where was I going with that?
Scaling. Yeah.
Oh, scaling. Yeah. So you could be doing 20 hours per week through our program, self-paced, or you can put in 10 hours a week. So we have a lot of students that put 10 or 30 hours, but it allows you to go at your own pace. That's why we have students graduating at 3 months, 6 months, and 9-month intervals.
No, I think you're spot on there, and I applaud you for trying it. But I think that's been my experience with every sort of online course I've ever taken, where it's okay. Those that are scheduled. First of all, your schedule can't always necessarily match that. And then you've missed it, and okay, fine, you're catching up. So in the end, it ends up being one of these not live events anyway. So if the whole course is planned out to be self-paced, great. Set your schedule. You want to finish this thing up in 6 weeks, 9 weeks, great. If it's going to take you 9 months, that's great too. Whatever your schedule permits, so you learn and keep growing. I think that's brilliant, and it fits so many people's lifestyle. And as they go to transit, because most of these people, I'm assuming, are currently working some job, and this is some sort of transition. I mean, I suppose have you had kids right out of, say, high school, or even dropping out of high school and going to NGT Academy? Is this something you're seeing?
Yeah, yeah, we've had students as young as 18 all the way to 65 years old.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I love this. I love this whole thing, man. Well, that's fantastic. So, I would imagine that your kind of your network of 500 kind of partner companies now, are these all larger companies? Are we talking like kind of Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 kind of companies that have a need for a lot of entry level, or what are we looking at?
Yeah, it's a good mixture. So I would say, we have small businesses to medium to Fortune 100 companies all in there, from the Accenture, Cisco's of the world, all the way to the mom and pops MSPs of the world.
That's fantastic. No, this is just super cool. So, yeah, no, I mean, I just love this. So if you're anybody looking to transition into it, because
Yep.
I've been asked numerous times. I'll work with a company,
Mm.
no kidding, whether they're a client or I'm purchasing something from them. Invariably, I can't tell you, I must have this question in the last year alone. I've been asked personally at least 10, 12 times, how do I get into cybersecurity? I'd like to to go do it. I'd like to come work for you. How do I do this? How do I get there? And people like, hey, can I work for you on the side? Can you train me up? Like, you're working for, one of our clients, or you're working for one of our vendors, and you're trying to come because you want to get into it. So I get it. The need is clearly there. The demand is huge. And the question is, how do I do it? So, and this is a great, now I have a much better answer for people. Before it was, I didn't have a great answer. I'll be honest. It was, look, are you sure that's what you want to get into? Like, there's a lot, you kind of have to have a desire for this thing, and not just, I want a job that's kind of future proof. It's fine. If you want a job that's kind of future proof, you're good with people. Let's talk about sales. Okay, cool. But now, this is fantastic. This is much better. So now I've got a place to send all these people who are like, hey, how do I, absolutely love this, man. Love everything about it. Well, this is, I normally I ask people to tell us where they can find out more information about you. I'm going to ask you, but I'm pretty sure that everybody's got it from the NGT Academy and the Zero to Engineer. Your background says it all. But before we finish up here, can you tell everybody where they can find out more about you and NGT Academy?
Yeah, so you can visit NGT Academy for general broad information. If you want to book a call with one of our career enrollment specialists, you can go to zerotoengineer.com. And if you do /book, you can get that free book, which also comes. And I wanted to make this book, to really help impact this 1 million lives number. And so, like, if you're like broke listening to this and you have no money to personally put in investing in yourself, just grab this book. You just pay for shipping, and it can help you actually break into your first IT job. Once you get that first IT job, you come back to us for upskill training. Because why? We helped you get into that first job, like literally for free, because this will give you the $297 course for free, which is the CompTIA Network Plus. That course will build the fundamentals. We've had a lot of students just get that cert and break into their first tier 1 job. So, yeah, and then personally, you can just follow me at Project Kim on Instagram, and that's my personal handle. And yeah, that's it.
Well, Terry, huge fan over here. You've converted me. I love this. We'll be sending people your way because I think what you're doing is absolutely fantastic. It's much needed. I think you guys are on a great mission, and I want to help you get to that 1 million lives changed by 2030. So, thanks for coming on the show. Look forward to having you back on to as the goal progresses and you open up new courses. Love to talk about it. So this has been fantastic. Thanks so much, Terry.
Thanks, Matthew.
Thanks for listening to the Cyber Business Podcast. We'll see you again next time, and be sure to click subscribe to get future episodes.